Hello everyone! We are the Isles of Scilly Wildlife Trust and we're the only local independent conservation charity on the islands. Our team of 9 works to manage over 60% of land across the archipelago, both for the benefit of people and nature. Here at the Isles of Scilly Wildlife Trust, our team is headed up by our CEO, Sarah, who came to Scilly in 2013 and does everything expected of a CEO and much more. So that's anything from meetings with the Duchy to planting trees and guiding excursions.
So my job is to coordinate the work of the Trust day to day, ensuring that the charity is delivering impact in the most cost-effective and efficient way. Generating income from as many sources as possible is my focus. This is so that the Trust can concentrate on nature's recovery through positive management of the land and access and engagement for people. My personal passion is to help everyone value nature as a vital part of our lives, respecting the natural world for what it can do for us, but I also believe that nature for nature's sake is equally important. Imagine a world without birds and butterflies. It just doesn't bear thinking about.
Our finances and operations are managed by the lovely Paula, who previously lived on St Mary's for a decade, but now works with us from just across the water in mainland Cornwall. Leading our comms team of 2 is Communications Officer Nikki.
I'm Nikki, so anything from the social media, newsletters, marketing, PR, all those sorts of things are my responsibility. My passion is marine litter and marine debris, as well as just our marine environment in general, collecting debris from our beaches, tracking and tracing, also looking out for weird and wonderful marine wildlife as well, like the salps that are washing in at the moment around our beaches.
Then there's me. I'm Natalie, the Marine Ranger here at the Trust, and despite the title, I also form part of our comms team. So my background is actually in zoology and wildlife filmmaking, and alongside my role on Ceylonian 3 passenger ferry, as well as other things, I also produce a lot of our video content for our social media, including our weekly Instagram Wildlife Wednesday feature. Now, it may look fairly polished by the time it gets to you, but that's not always an easy process, especially where our in-house comedian, lead ranger Rob and his team are involved.
The animals are here typically around about 4 to 6 weeks.
Our ranger team consists of head ranger Darren, lead ranger Rob, and estate rangers Rihanna and Darren. The team are responsible for the management of 60% of land across the archipelago. So that's anything from cutting paths, rotational coppicing and reed bed management, to laying recycled plastic boardwalks, cleaning beach waste, and looking after our bovine team members. Our rangers also carry out conservation and monitoring of the island's rare plant species, seabirds and Atlantic grey seal populations, as well as providing an ecological consultancy service monitoring buildings for signs of bat roosts. The rangers' work has drastically benefited Scilly's nature, heritage and landscape, having seen the return of locally rare bog pimpernel after a 68-year absence, the protection of 44 scheduled ancient monuments, the cutting of over 40,000 metres of paths allowing access to nature, and in excess of 3,000 people reached at our events and activities. Darren joined us as our head ranger back in 2015, and with his wealth of experience in conservation, is involved in everything from organising the rangers' work programme to make their job possible, to surveying the island's rare plants, seabird colonies and bat species.
We can hear through the machine.
Hi, I'm Rob and I'm lead ranger. I actually came to work for the Wildlife Trust about 18 years ago as a volunteer. It was only supposed to be for a month or two, and I fell in love with Scilly and ended up staying for 7 months. I decided to move over here. Finally, about 6 years ago, I got a job for the Wildlife Trust as one of their rangers. There is no such thing as an average day for a ranger. The job is really, really varied. In the summer, we do quite a lot of path cutting. You're quite likely to see us out somewhere across the islands, maintaining the coastal paths. But we could literally end up doing anything. If there's been storms on the islands, we could be out chainsawing, getting rid of trees that have fallen down the paths, and then just looking after animals that can bring up all sorts of things. So 2 days ago, I was helping cutting their toenails. So it's really, really varied.
My name's Darren Hart and I'm an estate ranger. I've been working for the Isles of Scilly Wildlife Trust for just over 10 years now. I applied for the job here, unsure whether island life was for me, but I was really keen on the islands and wanted a job within conservation. I'm now into my 11th year and going strong.
I'm Rihanna, I'm one of the estate rangers for the Wildlife Trust. I've been an estate ranger for about 3.5 years now. I first came over 6 years ago on a volunteer placement whilst I was completing my degree in wildlife conservation. So I came over here and got some practical experience.
Rihanna and I make up our seal survey squad, and after a forced break of around about 6 months due to COVID, thankfully this month we were able to get back out and restart our seal surveys, just in time for pupping season. Now, visibility wasn't at the best and it was a little bit lumpy, but it was so good to get back out and see how our Atlantic greys have been doing. Our seabird surveys have also resumed in the capable hands of our seabird ecologist Vicky. With the unprecedented impact of COVID-19 severely restricting fieldwork in 2020, only the second half of the planned field season monitoring work was completed. As a result, the main count window for most species was missed, and only storm petrel breeding surveys were possible, as well as observations of Manx shearwater fledging. Since the storm petrel's return as a breeding bird to St Agnes and Gew back in 2015, following the rat removal, numbers have been increasing, with up to 20 apparently occupied sites. This year, 40 apparently occupied sites were recorded, which is the same level as 2019. In 2020, evening chicks for stargazing Manx shearwater chicks between August and late September recorded 31 across St Agnes and Gew. We're really looking forward to having a full season of seabird monitoring in 2021. As a registered charity, the Trust is governed by a voluntary board of trustees, who are elected from the membership. They provide strategic direction and agree and ensure the implementation of the Trust's 5-year strategic plan. We recently asked Rosemary Teverson what it means to be a trustee.
I'm Rosemary Teverson, I'm a trustee for the Isles of Scilly Wildlife Trust. It was a chance to do something a bit different, to work with the sea and marine habitats a bit more. When we look for trustees, and we're always looking for more trustees, we're not just looking at people with conservation background. We have a big shortfall at the moment with people with marketing and communications. It's a really good opportunity at the moment because, as I said, the Trust has had to change. And it's almost like a bit of a relaunch in a way, and it's very exciting to see the potential of what we can do. We try and spend at least one overnight, so we have some day activities and we try and get out on site, and then we have a dinner one evening, and that's all part of building up a bit of a team spirit. And then we also try and meet the staff team around the time of the AGM and get to know them a bit better too, so that we're not two different sides of the organisation pulling in slightly different directions. And the last thing we want to do is to seem like we're checking up on people, so all that trust only builds when you spend time together.
Earlier this year we welcomed our first ambassadors, Olympic rowing champion Helen Glover and her husband naturalist and explorer Steve Backshall. Helen and Steve both adore Scilly and want to do all they can to help the Trust. Here they are promoting our brand new and vitally important individual giving scheme, Friends of Scilly Wildlife.
Hello you all, my name's Steve Backshall.
And I'm Helen Glover, and we're so excited to tell you that we've both become ambassadors for the Isles of Scilly Wildlife Trust.
So if you also love Scilly, or you'd love to come here at some time in the future, then you can do your bit by becoming a friend of Scilly Wildlife and help protect this little piece of paradise.
We've also been lucky enough to be visited by not one, but 2 seagrass research projects of late. Now, seagrass provides really important habitat for a lot of marine life, and it's also a vital carbon sink and acts as a natural coastal defence. And Scilly is home to the largest unbroken expanse of eelgrass in England and Wales. The 2 groups were focused on both the ecology of seagrass and its role as a natural coastal defence, and they hope that their research will be able to inform seagrass restoration projects in the future. So that's us. You can find out more about our work on our website and social media. Email us on hello@ios-wildlifetrust.org.uk or give us a call on 01720 422 153 and one of the team will get back to you.